Well, hello everybody, and welcome to Metaworld News. This is our weekly news program with highlights of social world's news and important developments in VR interfacing technology, human-computer interfacing, really. These are our headlines for the week ending the 10th of February 2019. That's it. Yes.
Yes.
Got there. Got there. I was taking it slowly just in case.
Mm-hmm.
I have, yeah, my eyesight's deteriorating rapidly,
Oh.
but we haven't reached 2020 vision yet. Ha ha. Here, here. No, that was not funny. Everybody's stifling the very loud yawn out there.
I expect we'll
Right,
hear a
okay.
lot of that in the coming years. So.
Indeed,
Yep.
indeed. Right. Okay, you can follow me. My name is Mal Burns, MAL and then space BUINS, but you can follow me on Twitter at twitter.com slash Mal Burns, all one word, MALBURNS. And we also have an additional feed at Twitter, which is twitter.com slash Metaworld News, all one word. Again, after this name of this program, really. The latter feed is really to do with social worlds, news and things, whereas the former is more my personal feed dealing with everything under the sun, within reason, to do with VR and virtual worlds, etc. Courtesy of James here, James at Loud, who's also multitasking on all the cameras. We also have a kind of screen that is showing you the website links to the various news items I'm going to be mentioned. So, without further ado, let's get on with this. I'll be here all night. The first link goes to rotovr.com. And this would have been published about 5 days ago, I think. It's a post about, it's entitled Madifier releases 3D comics out for Magic Leap 1. Was opposed to Oculus. That is naughty. It changed for me. There we are. I'm going to move down to a picture that moves because it looks better, doesn't it? Madifier is it's like a sort of it's a comics application. I particularly used it a lot on the iPad. Unlike sequential or something that's strictly speaking a comic book reader, on the web, Madifier makes use of video, audio, and all sorts of other things. The idea is the comics creators actually, utilize multimedia basically to make comics. It's not
Mm.
video, but it's not static either, and it's well, it's got a lot of redeeming features. Now, for some reason, I don't know why, but I might try and find out about this, is that they've decided to make a version of Madifier that works in 3D, but interestingly, is designed for the Magic Leap 1 headset, or rather, Magic Leap, of course, are more like glasses. We've been commenting on the fact that they're rather expensive, although to be honest, they're no more expensive than Oculus was at the point of its original release.
Mm, true.
Still, they're like $1,000 or more, so it's not cheap. And the picture that's on screen there is moving around just should, if you're getting it properly, give you a little bit of a hint of like the dimensional quality. That's obviously just showing a comic book frame against a background, static background, but you can see how the dimensional elements of the drawn comic are there. Now, what's actually interesting is the paragraph underneath here says we can arrange the artwork on layers, which gives depth, parallax, camera movement, mood music, and sound effects. And they're actually quoting an old friend of mine, actually, a guy called Dave Gibbons, who was the co-creator of the Watchmen comic series, and he says once you've got that built-in modifier, you can then translate it across the Magic Leap and turn something flat into something which exists in space before you. Which yeah, oh, by the way, the app is free from Magic Leap, but obviously you need a Magic Leap to run it with. Now, if you actually check out Madifier on say the app the Apple App Store and stuff, you can get an iOS version to actually see what the it's all about. And I don't imagine all their comics, for want of a better word, are actually in the Magic League One yet. But it's certainly a kind of nice idea.
Hmm.
Personally, I'm not particularly happy about that sort of thing where the panel's exploding out of a layer and there's just a bookcase behind it. I'd rather I'd like to see a full screen background and then the layers on that rather. But
Well,
anyway, interesting stuff.
the bookcase there is going to be the wherever you're in real life wearing the glasses, right? So that example is a recording, and it's just happen the
Ah,
bookcase happens to be the person's room that they're in. Yeah,
right, sure,
yeah,
sure. So it's like augmented reality, of
yeah,
course,
yeah.
isn't it?
Yep,
Yes, yeah. I don't know. It just seems that I can't immerse my. I'm looking at it now as a you, and
yeah,
I just don't feel I'm becoming immersed in that frame. I know it's got the things popping out of it to give a dimensional effect. That's an old trick in comics anyway.
yeah.
But I don't feel immersed in that as an object that is purely AR. I almost feel like I need a background that isn't the real world. I mean,
Right,
how do
right.
augmented reality giving me extra information in the real world is one thing, but when I'm looking at this, um, it's not immersing me while that damn bookcase is there.
Right, right. It seems a little bit
Yeah.
like watching videos in virtual reality, where you're in a big black room
Yeah.
with a screen, right?
Yeah. Well, I've seen that. I've done that on the Oculus Go, and of course, you
Yeah,
can
yeah.
always zoom in. You can always zoom into the screen, so that it takes over your screen.
Right. Yep.
This, I want to be able to zoom into that, as it were, but obviously, to zoom into the background frame of that, A, it's the wrong dimensions because it's square, but B, you've got these layers of characters that are overlapping the frame that are giving you the
Right.
dimensional thing and these flying bricks and things. And obviously, if I zoomed in where the frame took up the full screen, then I'd lose that dimensional effect. I'd probably get better immersion, but I would lose
Yeah.
some of the effect.
It's
So
an
I
interesting
don't know.
interpretation of a panel, right? Of a comic
Yes,
book
yes,
panel. Yeah.
yeah, it is absolutely. Yeah. Anyway, I'll put that away and move on to something else. And here we have digital trends, www.digitaltrends.com. And you can always put slash gaming to narrow down where it is um, because it's in their gaming section. Right, bringing realism to VR is complex, but this developer found a way in with holograms. Now, this again is very tangential to virtual worlds as such, but basically, they're creating 3D environments with holograms as opposed to avatars, I suppose. Um, you're coming across the word immersion, a vague feeling of presence in the virtual world, but it's as close as we'll get to providing a single point of reference for gauging success of VR development in crafting a believable experience. And most developers use similar techniques to achieve immersion and work within the bounds of existing virtual reality headsets and craft small scale, high fidelity screens, blah, blah, blah. And you may find yourself wandering into the uncanny valley, which is when you don't quite know what's real and what isn't and stuff, or very strange things start happening to upset you. Anyway, Awake is a thing from virtual reality production house Start VR, and it's hang on, it's where to climb on the rise on the other side. That's very strange terminology. Anyway, this is roughly a 20-minute first episode in a lightly interactive cinematic VR experience. So instead of sort of surround vision VR stuff, yeah, they're actually sticking holograms in it. I'm scrolling down here, as you can see, and I don't want to read out the whole article. I'm just trying to find a sentence that sums it up adequately. Um, It's a new type of performance capture that takes the full actor's performance, including all the wardrobe, full expression, and captures them as a filmic hologram. Very different from motion capture techniques currently used to craft characters. And yep, well, they've done a good job on the bird. I don't know about. Oh, ooh, that's a bit of an unfortunate looking character, isn't it? Um, I suppose it's a bit like a badly made face avatar. Oh, there you go. It's sort of, yep, that's what you get. Right, I'm going to move on because I don't really know what to say about this.
Hmm.
I suppose, yeah, I think a motion capture avatar is probably performing better than that. But look at that. It's all, look at him. No, well, never mind.
That
Moving on, moving on. You can
looks like
find all
maybe a
these
murder
links.
mystery or horror novel of some kind.
Yes, exactly. It's like having a hologram, but if it looks like that, no, thank you. Right. This is another one behind the scenes. Now, I haven't watched this, so I was so, if I'd actually watched this and had not approved of it, then I would be able to come on air and say it's a load of old balls.
Mm. Oh, right.
But I can't do that. The character on that film that we're not playing actually looks awfully like Ringo Starr, but it's not.
It's Chris O'Dowd. Yeah.
Yeah, this is Oculus, and it goes behind the scenes with Chris O'Dowd in VR in a film called The Evolution of Testicles, or Evolution of the Testicles. Um, you know, now, this is actually a serious thing about testicular cancer in honor of World Cancer
Oh,
Day.
sure. Yep.
And it's actually behind the scenes footage from something that I gather isn't actually out yet, as far as I know. But this chap, Chris O'Dowd, was talking to Oculus in an interview, and I presume Oculus is where you'll be able to see it. Oh, no, it says it's there available. You can get it at Oculus Video. And Oculus Go. Okay. And 360 video you can watch via traditional monitors as well.
Hmm.
So there you go.
You've got the
Um,
go, so you could try that. Yeah.
yes, I could indeed try
Yep.
that. All right, I shall see what I think of the evolution of testicles in Oculus Go. I just, yeah. No, I can't think of any anecdote for that one really. Interesting, shall we put it that
Says
way?
enough. Yeah.
It says enough, I think. Yeah. And here we go. We're going VR 360. This is virtual reality news.net. So virtual reality, all one word, dash, and then news.net. No spaces in there anywhere. And this is about the British Army here in the UK. Who are getting set to use VR, MR, and cloud software. I actually thought they already did. But there you go. Apparently, they're working with a company called Bohemia Interactive Simulations, which is a US-based developer of advanced military hardware. Why aren't they working with a British company? I wonder. And somehow the name of a company, when Bohemia, does not gel with military to me. But never mind. A series of training events provided. Pilot program that would demonstrate VR and mixed reality capabilities. And they're using flagship desktop training software. Um, hmm, interesting. Um, sounds awfully. Okay, a British company is providing subcontracted to provide UK based defense security data. Okay, well, that is largely full of technical stuff, but if you're interested in that kind of thing, you'll find it at virtuality-news.net. Right. Now, in RFA, this website is modemworld.me. That's MODEMWORLD and then dot me, as in ME, as in self person stuff. Right, this is part two of her thoughts on VR and AR. She did actually, plus AR, MR, and beyond actually. Um, Yeah, she did her part one a couple of weeks ago, I think. And in our blogs, a lot about arts and locations, which is just my kind of thing, over in the old Second Life platform frequently. But she does branch out into other things now and again. And she's a very good writer. And this is kind of a general summary. I suspect it's aimed at most of her readers will be Second Life users rather than anything else, but she's given a pretty good roundup of what's going on. Um, those look rather nifty, don't they? They're ODG R8 and R9 headsets, which launched at CES 2017. Well, that's a long while ago. Why haven't I seen those in the shops? Um, I like things that look like glasses. I must say the one on the right looks a wee bit bulky, but the one on the left slightly less stylish, but more wearable, I would say. Anyway, she's gone in there, diving in deep. A few embedded videos there too, and of course the obligatory picture of a cyclist wearing some. Turn left, turn right, bump into this, bump into. Oh no, that's not what you meant to do. Right. Oh yes, and minor information here. That's from Microsoft's stuff. Yep, she's covered quite a lot there. So there you go. In about to say in com. No, modemworld.me for in ours thoughts part two. Kotaku here, kotaku.com. This is a very popular news site for games and things like that. I think it's a subsidiary of one of the other really big ones. This article was actually fascinating, though. It obviously, I don't notice it's something special because you often read articles that talk about dreams and how dreams are kind of, anchored in very peculiar ways to our experiences in real life and our things where our mind is doing in our sleep to prepare us for the next day. But there is evidence that people who play a lot of computer games, or I suppose by extension, spend a lot of time in a virtual world, even though it may not be a game, it occupies so many hours of their day that, as a proportion of reality, if you like, that those environments actually influence dreams. So people that have fairly vivid dreams of walking down the street and they're seeing strange things happening in their high street are equally prone to dreaming about virtual environments they're very familiar with. And as with all dreams, of course, it won't be the real thing. It will be a jumble, like dreams are, that, contains a bit of memory and a bit of premonition. And, it's actually all the result of your mind. Your mind, when you go to sleep, your mind is in what in computer terms we call defrag mode. And as you start to wake up, it's sort of defrag has to stop, and then it's putting all these memories and anticipations of the day and all these sort of things into your head, and that's what results in what we remember as dreams. So it's basically saying that if a virtual world is a significant part of your daily routine or whatever, then you will be dreaming virtual reality as much as you'll be dreaming organic reality. So it's actually just quite a fascinating article, although when you read it, you realize it could, a similar article could be, instead of referencing games and virtual worlds, it could be referencing anything to somebody who hasn't been in these environments. Okay, let's get rid of that one. Right, technical stuff here. Readwrite.com. Readwrite is all one word, and .com is what you might expect it to be. 6 ways to implement AR and VR into your business today. This is strictly looking at not the recreational side of things, but different ways in which businesses can actually make use of AR and VR in retail, automotive, estate agents, construction, video gaming, tourism, hospitality, proof of concepts, hiring people, and education. Um, and it says in brackets here, almost any education could be adapted to AR VR. plus point there. And basically, this is, if you've, I don't know, if you're tuning into this show and you actually know nothing about AR and VR and stuff, but want to know how you could maybe use it in your company or recommend somebody to use it in your company, then, a few little highlights of stuff you can read here. To get the idea. Now, if you already use virtual reality or virtual worlds, there's probably very little to be learned from that article. But if you don't, there you go. Right. Now, yeah, VR has music in it, of course, especially virtual worlds, but this one, a post at VRScout, or one word.com, is looking at the possibilities for disabled musicians. Infinite Instruments customizable interface is proving an effective tool for physically disabled musicians. Um, I have the impression that this is instrumentation that uses VR, that allows people with certain disabilities to actually learn to play or compose music. Um, it's I don't think it's what you described as a way of disabled people playing existing kind of music, and when it describes them as musicians. They've got to learn to be musicians, and it seems to me the technology here is a learning curve. So until it's learned, they're not a musician. So I just find the terminology here a bit misleading because it sounds like a musician who, says a musician is in a wheelchair. That's not going to stop them playing guitar. So they can be a musician. Maybe they can learn additional types of music through VR. But again, it's really down to the haptics. And this is a specialist VR application referred to as EXA, the Infinite Instrument. And a team composed of electronic engineers, sonic arts researchers, computer scientists, immersive content designers, and an ensemble of soloists are building unique audio interfaces designed to accommodate specific disabilities. Um, Now, I would actually find this quite interesting. I mean, there's a little video there, as you can see, regular instruments mixed with others. They do say instruments plurals too. So I mean, you can just like we have the Special Olympics, I think they're called. You can imagine at some point in the future you could have an orchestra that, not just for the sake of it, but might be comprised or partly comprised of people you would not find in an orchestra at the moment because there are no real suitable instruments to play or interfaces with which they can actually successfully play them. Um, anyway, interesting stuff. And let's see. Yeah, Queen's University Belfast seems to be the key player in all this research. Oh, and you can also you can get this Infinite instrument via Steam VR for 15 US dollars, probably about £12 if you're over here. Um, okay, so I'm not a big fan of Steam, but presumably that's the only way you can get prototype to play with at the moment.
You say
Yes,
you say that often.
I do, don't I?
Yeah.
Well, to me, Steam, um, it's oh, God, it's like an unnecessary layer. It's like an iframe on a website going to another website or something. Why go to a website that shows you another website through an iframe? Why not just go straight to the website you want to see? Because who knows what's happening in the frame set around the iframe that you can't see? So Steam seems to me to be a thing where I could, apart from the fact I've got to load Steam before I can load the app I want, when I'm in the app I want, Steam is still running in the background, and who knows what, they can be snooping like Facebook does,
Mhm. Mhm.
except in this case, they're actually invisible. Well, so is Facebook after time. I don't like it, I want to, for example, you can get high fidelity, I think, on Steam. you
Hmm.
know.
Yep.
But why? Why? I just wanted high fidelity.
It was convenient.
What, in Steam?
Yeah,
So,
to get software in Steam, it's convenient.
well, now you've got to get Steam to get it. So you're going through, instead of just downloading it and running it, you're downloading something else in order to download and run the thing you want. It's an extra click, however you look at it.
Yeah. Yep.
I don't call that convenient.
Yeah. I look at it as an app store for VR,
Yeah,
just like a phone has an app store, and
yeah. Well,
it
even
it has
Discord,
conveniences. Yeah.
Even Discord that we
Right. Right.
use for voice here has now opened a game store and stuff
Right.
like that. It's quite a nifty earner if you can get it. I mean, Apple have an app store and
Hmm.
stuff like that, but I mean, at least you just go there and download the stuff. It's not you don't actually have to go there every time you want to use the stuff. If you see what I mean. Whereas Steam, you have to connect to Steam to actually run the game or whatever it is. Um, it's not like Steam is just a place you can go to buy stuff and then download it. And once downloaded, it runs
Sure.
independently.
Yep.
It's running through, it's like, oh, I don't know. It's like going into a shop and buying something and then trying to use it and find out the only place you can use it is go by going back into the shop. It doesn't click with me. It just
Gotcha.
seems like it's like the racketeering of the internet age, you know. Anyway, I better put my opinionating, as I call
Opinionating.
it.
Yep.
Yes, I know we're lapsing into opinionating.
Yep. My
Right,
fault.
next piece. Right, this is almost something that should be at Hypergrid Business, but it's actually on Alice Ponsanio writing at Medium. Talking about Hypergrid Business. Well, there are no links this week, and Hypergrid Business is having problems of some sort. It is actually offline at the moment. You can't get to it. Apparently, they are attempting to fix it, Maria and co. But just in case you are a regular Hypergrid Business reader, which a lot of us are, it ain't there at the moment. You don't get a 404. You get a sort of, I forget what it is, but it ain't available. But they are working on it. It hasn't actually gone anywhere. It's generally speaking, it's thriving. Anyway, this article actually dates back to February the 1st at Medium. A new sex helmet promises VR intimacy. So, medium.com. And if you use the at symbol and then Alice Bonacio, you can get a link to all her articles. And this is her most recent one. Otherwise, you can just go to her homepage and look, really. VR bangers shocked and horrified the world with their unconventional approach to recording VR porn. This sort of seems like the ultimate thing hypergrid business, or rather Maria would be wanting to report on, but she's not actually. Um, right. One of a kind head rig device with high tech microphones, top notch cameras, which look like a lot like a mannequin's head, but changed the game for. Right. Sorry, what is. Oh, there's a nifty helmet, isn't he? Would you want to? You wouldn't want to have sex with that thing on, would you?
Um,
Or maybe it's the only way you can have sex if you. Uh,
if you want to
yeah. Anyway, if you
if you want to record it, I think is the
right
purpose.
the head rig simplified the creation of porn movies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, but presumably the person, maybe one person you don't see and they're wearing it, and the other person you do see and they're not wearing one. They're just in camera. I actually I like actually if that is a okay, I don't like wearing these cumbersome things, but if that was actually a camera, I suppose. Can you imagine going to high fidelity or something wearing that thing instead of an Oculus?
No, no, but if it's, I mean,
Ju-
a,
just to be able to film.
a movie camera is
Yeah,
a really large device too, and that's just for the sake of making the movie. The camera person is
yeah,
not a participant. The camera person's the
e-
creator.
exactly. I'm trying to figure out what's going on in this picture. She's smooching with a dummy head, which has a clockwork motor and a turning and a thing in its ear.
And the male actor is there but not there.
Yeah, and she's got maybe they're actually real things in the hair. I don't know. Instead of
Tracking
like
devices. Yep.
green screen spots. And, um, right, upgraded. Starting with a new design, my lenses with a 300-degree field of view. Okay, well, for what it is, I suppose it's probably rather useful. So if you're interested, go to Medium and read about that. Alice Bonsanyo's a good VR writer, so she's interested, I
Hmm.
guess. That's that, isn't it? Oh, presumably if they work with porn, as they call it, then they'll work for almost anything else too. So device has 7 virtual reality cameras, so nothing going on will be missed. And the binaural sound microphones are better built to capture wild moans and groans. Yes, maybe that'd be good for wildlife filming as well. Okay, okay, enough of that one. Enough of that one. We've got 3 in a row at Medium here. This one is Sharon Lanier, one of the original leading VR people. He's actually talking about virtualizing the problem of how we talk about tech. Pioneering technologists talking about how tech should improve mankind, not replace it. I've heard him talking on this subject before. Now, this actually is an audio, as you can see. Listen to this story. I'm not going to give 30 minutes of this program to playing it for you. But if you go to medium.com, you can see there you've got the embed code too. If you don't really want to listen to it, you can read the article in which he's talking about it. All very interesting stuff. He's a very interesting chap. Is Sharon, I think is how you pronounce his name. So that again is at medium.com. And finally, another one from medium.com. Um, Here's what you missed with the AR VR revolution last year, 2018. VR and AR is already being incorporated in major websites and products. And there you've got who wrote this one? Oh, don't know who they are. Right. Designers are beginning to leverage AR, VR, etc. And here's how. Virtual reality browsers already exist, and yeah, basically all sorts of ways that things are being used at the moment. Not the longest of articles, but good little summary, I guess. Right, and finally, the last of this section, as it were. Um, Gene Gen no GNN or GenN Tech using virtuality as a training tool for eye surgeons. All right, now this may well be up my street. It's not going to be long before I have those lasers poking in mine,
Hmm.
no doubt. Um, Quite seriously, actually,
Hmm.
decline in the last week even.
Oh.
Um, right. Oh, yet to be approved by the FDA, and that's America anyway. Um, Okay, I mean it's a known fact. However you view these things, if you have a proper headset and it's comfortable for a surgeon, a doctor, whatever like that, and computers control a lot of this technology, it is actually safer than the old-fashioned way of surgeons actually, being in full control of stuff themselves. You can get far greater accuracy in laser treatments and things like that. And if the surgeon themselves is able to use VR to get an even clearer view of what they're doing, it is not only beneficial, but contrary to popular belief, it is safer. The risks when a computer's crunching the numbers and doing the precision, there's always a risk of something going wrong, but it is a far lesser risk than when a human surgeon is trying to do something that really is beyond, um, the adequacies of human perception, as it were. So, would I trust a computer in my eyes? If there's a surgeon operating it, yes.
Hmm.
I think, yeah. Okay, so that is that. And oh, yes, you shouldn't be seeing that, but let me just flip across here, out of sight, and I'm moving from to Metaworld News. And what have we got here? It should be loading. Hello. It don't seem to want to. Ah, here it is. Right. T.co. Nothing like a Twitter short thingy, is there? Right, and it's taking its time. This actually is a retweet from Leo Lobo, our friend. It's the last call for Virtual World's Best Practice in Education 19 exhibits as 3D posters for conference. I don't know why this. Oh, I
Mm,
didn't have this tab open already, so maybe that's why it's taking so long.
now it's showing up.
Um,
Yep.
yeah, it is showing up. There's actually nothing much to see here. I thought there might be some pretty pictures, but apparently not. Okay, moving on to about. Oh, it's coming in. It's just slow. Okay, go figure. Maybe that may be housed on a Microsoft server. Who knows? Right. nwn.blogs.com. This is Hamlet Orr's New World Notes. Often looking at Second Life and other things, but yeah, it covers Science Space, one of their partners, High Fidelity, a bit. And this particular article from a couple of days ago is looking at a new trailer that's being released for an immersive metaverse called Dual Universe. Dual View Universe is fairly highly praised. It's one of the oh god, it says it here actually. Will Burns, who we've had on
Oh yeah.
our talk shows quite a bit and stuff. This is the world that Will claims is closest to what he thinks is a blueprint for a future metaverse. It does have considerable gaming qualities, of course. It's a crowd-funded single shard MMO, so I mean, it's features include terraforming, mining, in-game scripting, light physics, community building, voxel-based editing, multiplayer navigation, and yep. Okay, as usual, it's a short but concise article from Hamlet. He always manages to cover a fair bit in a minimum number of words, actually, which is good journalism. Anyway, so read about it there, and of course you can look at this trailer. I don't know how long it is. Let's just have a quick look. Okay, I'll tell you what.
Oh, look at that.
Why not? He says. Let's look at the trailer while we're here. Oh God.
Our screen sharing app just gets a pretty low frame rate, but
Yeah,
we're able to see
it's
it here.
enough to get a vague impression. Um, Obviously, the way this is edited and stuff is clearly, advertising promo rather than what you'd actually see in camera when you're in there. But yeah, well, there you go. I'm not going to cheat by showing you the whole thing, but you get the idea there. So yes, you can read about that at nwnblogs.com. And I just think I'll shut it out so like you can hear what I'm saying. nwn.blogs.com to read a little bit more about that. Right, now this site is probably not going to load because guess what? It's Hypergrid Business. Yeah,
Ah,
see, I told you it was out of order. Right, okay. Well, if you go to hypergridbusiness.com in a couple of days or whenever it starts working again, it's basically an article about Metropolis the grid, which is being upgraded, and it will be supporting VR this summer.
hmm,
Now, I've been reading in forums and stuff, by the way, that apparently Metropolis are starting to charge people for something. I don't want to go on on the news here publicly and say anything actually, but I have noticed there's been a couple of comments in some of the background channels about something that's maybe being charged for that people aren't used to be having to pay for. So I'm not quite sure. I always tend to think of Metropolis, which is based in Germany, as kind of a German European equivalent of OS Grid. One of these sort of biggish grids that is, much favoured by the free thinking mob as opposed to the commercial residents, because OS Grid and Metropolis are not what you call commercial grids, despite being big. The other one, of course, in that league, as it were, is probably Franco Grid, which is the major French grid. Anyway, definitely changes at Metropolis, and we'll keep you upgraded on that.
Hmm.
And so we'll have a good business, no doubt, when it's working again. Um, right, buddy, you're a young man, hard man, shouting his streak, and oh, somebody's queen, free interpretation, like that. Okay. Um, okay, this link just goes straight into the interview. This is Juliet's Surreal Dreaming, Art Blue, yeah, talking with Tosha Taran. They're based in Craft World, of course, but they are two of the people behind the new Hypergrid Hoppers, or yeah, no, Grid Hoppers. That's it. The sort of the modern society, safari. They don't do it every week. The next one is, I think, after 20th of February, so it's a week or two away yet. But they're trying to fill in the gap left by Safari and Pathfinder's group. Yeah, there we are. HG Hoppers, they're called. So this is just a little interview where they're talking about it. And if you watch our channel here fairly often, you'll know we had uh, them talking. Oh well, I'm planning to get them back actually, but we've had them talking on our In World Review show a fair old bit. So a little bit of an interview to get you going. And yeah, it's quite a lot of it, as you can see. And there we are, Hypergrid a hop-in, hypergridnet.work. Um, yeah, that doesn't. Okay. I think that's it.
Hmm.
Yeah. Obviously, I can't click on my little links here going to Hypergrid Business because they're different links, but they all go to 404 not found.
Hmm.
Oh, such a shame. Such a shame. Right. Okay. So we'll just flip back to a. Oh, okay. We'll flip back to standby screen for you. Ha ha ha. Right, okay, well, that seems to be it. So I'm turning around to see what my avatar's up to, talking to you. And yes, yeah, I'm still chatting away. And I can see James sitting beside me. James, any thoughts on all that lot from this week?
Hmm. I had the thought last week about.
Well, I'm getting an audio
Oh.
performance work happening
Oh.
with your
Okay.
sound.
All right.
Your
Oh, and you've just disappeared as well. And is it me? What's the Max? Was it Max L headphones? Is it him? Still audio in world. Let's see if I can hear him in world.
I
There we
presume,
go.
from the point of view of filming and stuff, James is
Can
picking
you?
me up adequately. It sounds like his own voice input has gone a bit haywire today. So, that means I can't even do that fancy goodbye from him and us and whoever elsewhere business, can I?
Oh,
Never
now you're
mind.
back. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I
Yep.
can hear you now. Okay, so I was about to go out. Any
I
thoughts?
was
Any
hearing you
thoughts?
in world, but Discord has come back. So
Oh, Discord was playing silly
Discord
buggers,
was
was
playing
it?
tricks
Right.
on us. Yeah.
Right, it was earlier too.
I
Okay,
was.
did you have any thoughts on the links this week and
Well,
stuff?
I
Or what?
was thinking last week about just how video games, how much they are like virtual worlds, how much they are not like virtual worlds. And so,
Mm,
um, I do spend a lot of time in video games myself, and I find them to be very compelling virtual worlds, as opposed, but not the, well, no, they can be very social as well. I think
yeah.
there's a big convergence in games, and so I just would say, don't don't discount video games and their contribution to the virtual experience.
Well, we do. They do. I mean, we do share. I certainly don't. Well, maybe I appear to at times. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really a gamer,
Mm-hmm.
video games. Although I love Myst and I haven't started it yet, but on the Mac here, I downloaded Abduction
Abduction.
recently,
Yeah.
which should start, and something else, and something else I found before I got Abduction. Is it called Soma? Soma, I
That
think.
sounds familiar. Yep.
Yeah, but they were cheap. They were on offer from somewhere, so I got
Not
them.
Steam, I hope.
Uh, and yeah, Abduction I'd been planning on for a while, and it was a download price. So I don't know, it was probably less than $10. So it was,
Hmm.
iPad type prices, though it doesn't work on the iPad. Um, but no, that aside, I mean, if it hadn't been for computer games, who knows where the kind of technology we use for virtual worlds would stand these days?
Yeah.
Computer games predate virtual worlds, and understandably so, because computer games used to be on in consoles, or then they were on floppy disks, and then they were on CD-ROMs, then they were on DVD-ROMs, and nowadays they're live, via the internet, just as virtual worlds are. Now, those early examples of computer games, the history, as it were, the legacy, technological legacy that has, developed, would not. You couldn't have run virtual worlds on those systems way back in the day. Can you imagine having Second Life on a floppy disk or something? No, and on a 14K modem, no, it would never have happened. So the technological progress that we have now and utilize for virtual worlds, and even VR technology, of course, all of that has a huge debt to pay for pioneers who developed the technology to make computer games better and better over the years. But when it comes to content, I mean, as you say, there are plenty of games that have a social component. I mean, a lot of people, I remember from when Second Life first started, they still, well, there was there.com, but no, World of Warcraft, that was it. I mean,
Hmm.
people would find battle-free zones in World of Warcraft to hold, book club meetings or something. It was people made use of what was there.
Yep.
So once you had computer games that were online, people who weren't gamers could possibly find, get in there, be taken somewhere where they could landmark it and stay away from all the warfare and, getting shot down and having to restart the game or something, and use it for meeting and their own purposes. And indeed, um, architecturally speaking, I guess Will Burns and others who muse on the future of the metaverse see games as components of a metaverse. And it was often said, back in the early days of Second Life, people had to wander around saying, Second Life is not a game.
Right.
Second Life is not a game because it wasn't. But the the rider to that is the second sentence. Second Life is not a game, but there are games in it. Because Second Life, it's an open platform, it is a social world, but there's nothing to stop you having a game in it. The virtual world is basically like the real world, where you go out and do what you want and travel where you want to. If you actually get in a car or walk down to a theme park and go into a game in the theme park, you know, the real world is not a game, but there are games in it. Think of it like that. So
Hmm.
the social side of virtual worlds is just one part of it, but I guess like the real world, I mean, if the real world wasn't a social place, nothing else, even our work environments, our entertainment, nothing would exist if we human beings did not socialize and communicate. So ultimately, the metaverse will be a schematic for a social world. But that doesn't stop any manner of other things being in it. And if a game comes online or something comes online, and that pioneers technology, as I often mention on this news thing, then those technologies may in fact evolve to be an important part of the kind of matrix, the mesh of all the tools and devices we use to access the metaverse. Um, This is my improvised keynote for the week.
Mm,
Yes.
yeah, yeah.
Um, here we go again, kind of thing. Yeah, so I certainly don't knock games, though. I mean, and I really thoroughly enjoyed playing Myst. I mean, that will never be out of my memory. I played Seventh Guest at about the same time, and that was fun too, and the puzzles and whatever. But Myst just had that wonderful exploratory and puzzle solving and I- well, I won't say innocence to it, but anyway, it's something I could actually enjoy without being shot dead in the first frame.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't a shoot me up or something. It took things in another direction. So I played Riven and various other ones that followed it up and other things from time to time. But I always come back to Myst because I think, well, that was the first thing. And I suppose it's like your first holiday or first love affair or something. It takes pride and place in the old memory. So yeah, I don't know, but so I'm not averse to games at all. It's just that my temperament leads me to not be able to play many of them.
Mm,
I hate shoot 'em ups. I hate guns, violence, and all that running around and stuff.
yeah.
I like how shall I say intellectual pursuits more than more than pretending to be a I don't know um, shoot 'em up person,
A warrior.
a,
Yeah.
a cowboy or a warrior or a spy or an agent or even a space fighter. I can't even do flight simulators and stuff like that. If I'm going to have a nice screen with driving through space, I better hell be on autopilot because I can't do it. I'll just crash into every planet around.
Yeah.
I can't fly or drive. I can't even walk in most virtual worlds properly. I don't even think about talking about stairs. Some things I just can't do virtually.
Oh,
So
okay.
there.
Yep.
I can sit down if there's a seat, which we don't need. But stairs in virtuality, forget it. My navigational skills are just not there.
Hmm. Okay.
I'm notorious. When I had a house early on in Second Life, a nice sort of modern sort of house, with a wide staircase, but railings at the side. I fell. It would take 10 tries to get from my ground floor to my first floor. It just was not happening.
Yeah.
So go figure. Some of us are just useless at certain things, aren't they? All right. But I am still walking in real life. You'll be pleased to know.
Oh,
Right.
good.
For the moment. Right. Okay. Well, I think that's it. What was I said? Yeah, fun and games happening, various places. Do check out the Hypergrid Explorers and Creators channel on Discord, where you get links to places to go and events that are actually happening all over the various open simulator grids. Check out Science Space and High Fidelity. Just Google them, find out what's going on. High Fidelity had some. Um, what day was it? Oh, it was Thursday. Yeah, we had a town hall meeting, which was about 60 people, but they went on to a sort of bingo game, and of course, all the people from the meeting could hardly get into the bingo game because so many people were actually in that region waiting. So
Mm-hmm.
you're talking about a game of live bingo, which I guess it attracts people because of prizes, but it's really there's no other place that I would say is actually a social world. Of course, bingo is a game, isn't it? So there's a game within a virtual world, but it actually supports hundreds of avatars, hundreds of real world people as avatars all at once. So there were several hundred people there, vying to win prizes at bingo, and of course, chatting to each other and having a whale of a time. You couldn't hear yourself very well. It's not very easy to be in a room where several hundred people are actually trying to have a conversation, but you hear the people closest to you. Like it's like the real world. You hear the
Yeah.
people closest to you loudest. So that was just great fun. It gives you a really empowering feeling to be in a crowd of several hundred actual people, whereas even in open sim here or something, you'd be very pushed to get more than about 50 avatars into one space for a concert and you'd find things lagged and stuff like that. But the idea of actually going to a concert and being part, without sharding or anything, actually having, um, several hundred other avatars surrounding you. It can feel a bit claustrophobic, but I mean, it certainly feels more real than where you've got limitations in some virtual worlds. So very, 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 very good stuff. That is
Good.
okay. Right, ideal place to put on big events, or even have it do a TV show with a live audience of a lot of people, for example. So in the future. Who knows? Right, I think we can sign off now because before I start talking about something, what is it, James? Yes, me, Mal in the rabbit hole.
Ah, right.
Not to be that. That is not a good idea on the
Alice
news.
Alice Burns going down the rabbit hole.
I was down the rabbit hole.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought I usually fell through the looking glass, but maybe it's a rabbit hole. I don't know. I don't know.
Yep.
I'm being silly. Okay, that's it for this week. You've got all the news that I can think of, all the news that fits this week. So, from James Out Loud here, it's bye from him.
And it's goodbye from Mel Burns here. Goodbye from him.
So, yeah, goodbye from both of us then. Yes, indeed. We will see you same time, same place next week, and have a good one. And fingers crossed you'll better get a hold of Hypergrid Business before next week. See you then. Bye bye.